Good evening, y'all. This is Chris, the guy behind this YouTube channel. I was just wanting to make a little video that's a bit different than the videos I normally make. Rather than filming a specific car per se, I'm here with my friend Chill, the penguin pillow pet, and we're going to be looking back on the history of the YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel now has 400 something subscribers, and it's actually been growing more in subscribers when I'm not posting many videos than it was when I actually made videos. So a lot of the people I've gained have been within the past few years, and they've been coming in off of some slightly older videos from like 2017, 2018. So I'm making this late November 2020 update to clear up some updates on vehicles that appeared on the channel and what happened to them or why they have not appeared again. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we go with older vehicles, I'd like to go ahead and clear up what vehicles are currently in the family fleet. Right now, I drive a 2019 Volkswagen Golf All-Track SE with the driver assistance and appearance package. I purchased this vehicle brand new in May 2020 from Stone Mountain Volkswagen over in Snellville. So I've had it for 6 months and 14,000 miles. I drive a good bit. My dad has a 2018 GMC Canyon SLE that was purchased new on New Year's Eve 2018. It was a demo and it has about 23 or 24,000 miles right now. My mom has a 2016 Honda CR-V EX with around 50,000 miles that was purchased brand new in July 2016. And finally, my sister, who no longer lives here at the house, has a 2019 Nissan Rogue SV with the Sunsound and Touring package that was purchased brand new in May 2019, and that car has just over 16,000 miles. I think the most important thing to clear up is that the 2012 Toyota RAV4 Limited is no longer in the family. This vehicle was the vehicle I drove since July 2016, and it was sold to CarMax the day that I bought the All-Track. The All-Track is a vehicle I am paying for, while the RAV4 was a vehicle in my parents' name. It was purchased brand new in August 2012, shortly before the YouTube channel was created, and when it was sold, it had just over 103,000 miles. A lot of people come in on videos about that vehicle or feature that vehicle, such as the one about the cargo box. That car has no longer been in the family. As of last check, it was for sale at a Buy Here Pay Here dealership in Doraville called Ola Auto Sales. It sold pretty quickly. A lot of the vehicles in that dealership's inventory were pretty nice. It seemed like a good dealership, including Carfax reports of the vehicles as well, and it seemed to sell pretty fast, so I'm hoping a family over in that area is enjoying it well. Another vehicle featured on the channel is the 2008 Nissan Rogue SL. This vehicle was purchased brand new in August 2008, so at the time of the channel's creation, the Rogue was about 4 years old. My sister started driving that Rogue in 2014, and it was with her through her whole college career, so there weren't a whole lot of videos of it in that era, the 2015-2016 era. And my sister was thinking she was going to keep that car for a lot longer, probably at least 5 years after graduation or so, but unfortunately in May 2019 she totaled it, and my parents decided that it would be better for her to get into something brand new rather than like a certified used 2016 Rogue, and she got that Rogue. We looked at several crossovers at the time, my sister and I. We looked at the then redesigned RAV4, the then redesigned Subaru Forester, and she decided that she liked the Rogue the best. She got a good deal on it, and she's been happy with it ever since. Shortly after the wreck, I did find the Rogue for sale at the Copart Atlanta West, which is the Copart branch in Austell that most of the wrecked cars around here go to. They either go there or the IAAI up in Ackworth. That's where the wrecked cars go. So I don't know what happened to it. I'm at the very least hoping if something did happen, it went to one of those Mexican car trains that goes to Mexico with the cars chained together, because it had some damage on the front pillar and the front door, but it still ran well and it was pretty reliable still. But being a 2008 with over 100,000 miles, it just made more sense to total the car rather than get it fixed. So an unfortunate ending for that Rogue, but my sister's happy with her 2019 now, so that's good. The 2015 Scion XB was purchased brand new in April 2015. Because I was going to be getting my license later that year, my family needed a fourth car rather than juggling between the Ranger, the Rogue, and the RAV4. We decided, hey, we'll get the XB as a car for my dad. It was definitely a jump up from the Ranger he was driving with like a touchscreen that had a backup camera, power windows, power locks. It was a pretty simple car overall, but it was definitely a jump from what he had, and space was surprisingly big inside for such a little car. However, after a couple years, he had some issues with the brakes. The brakes were always wearing out with him, and it got pretty bad fuel economy for being a car that little. He was commuting to work. He no longer commutes to work. He's permanent work from home. He already worked from home a good bit already, but he decided to get a truck instead. We looked at some certified used bigger trucks like F-150s. However, he wanted something that could fit in the garage, so that brought him down to mid-size territory. I was looking at options for him like Tacoma SR5s with the 4-cylinder, Canyons and Colorados and SLE or LT trim with the 4-cylinder, and that Canyon just magically appeared. It had everything he wanted, exact color, and it was a demo too, so it was super duper cheap, like $8,000 off of sticker. So we got that truck and the XB was traded in. So the XB was only in the family for 3.5 years, around 40-something thousand miles, and my dad loves that Canyon. He doesn't drive it much. He's maybe put 4,000 or 5,000 miles on it this whole year, but good truck. If I had a truck, I'd probably equip it different because like it doesn't have a push button start or any of that. You still have to take the fob out to unlock it, but the XB ended up for sale at Capital Buick GMC, which is the dealership my dad got the Canyon from, and since it was sold, I don't know what's happened to it since, but I'm hoping it's doing well. The 2007 Ford Ranger was purchased used in March 2008 just as a little truck to keep around the family. It was originally going to be a third car, but at the end of the month, the 2001 Toyota RAV4, which I'll get to later in the video, was given to my grandparents because they desperately needed a vehicle. So that Ranger was the second vehicle in the family for a long time, and eventually third, and eventually fourth. It was my sister's first car, and it was my first car from learning on my permit to my license September 2015 to having it be traded in July 2016 for the Honda CR-V. That's when I started driving the RAV4. I explained the RAV4 story already. So that Ranger was a nice little truck. Everyone thought it was cool, but it only had 93,000 miles, but it had a ton of problems on it, and it was traded into AutoNation Honda in Lithia Springs, and it of course got shipped to auction and ended up at a little buy here pay here dealership in Milledgeville called Wilkinson Auto Sales, and it was a dealership that I saw stickers for all the time. So when I was in Milledgeville, I hoped to see the truck, but I never came across it. But I hope the Ranger's doing well, especially because mileage wise it did have some life left in it. Now here's the part I'm excited for, the other cars on my channel. Now the hard part is that the vehicles that were brand new at dealerships or rental cars like the 2020 Nissan Versa SV at Childre Nissan or the 2014 Chevy Captiva rental, unless I track down the VINs of those cars, which are usually a blur, I won't know exactly what happened to them. The only car I do know, however, that had something happen to it was the 2020 Toyota Corolla hatchback that I filmed in August 2018. That vehicle did end up for sale at a 5-star dealership about 6 months later, so I guess the old owner didn't like it for some reason. So, some of the vehicles that have had stuff happen to them that I filmed from other people. The 2014 Honda Odyssey EX, that was purchased brand new in July 2013, back when the Odysseys were facelifted. My neighbor still has that van. I think it's got over 100,000 miles on it now. They have a couple newer Subarus in the family now. That Volkswagen CC they had at the time is long since gone. The two Toyotas I filmed, the 1990 Toyota truck and the 2010 Toyota Corolla, I filmed those in January 2013. I don't recommend you watching those because I was wearing a polo shirt with Hollister sweatpants. Do not recommend looking at that. But the Toyota truck had a sad story, unfortunately. I think it got totaled like a couple years after that video was filmed. It's been a long time ago now, but it was long after that video was filmed, so that was a bummer. And They got a Fiat 500 shortly after I filmed those videos, I believe, and I think the 2010 Corolla is still with them. Those family friends we don't really see anymore. They moved out of the neighborhood a couple years ago, and we haven't stayed in touch with them in a long time, so unfortunately no future car updates from them. Same applies for the 2000 Toyota 4Runner SR5. That belonged to my neighbor. That neighbor moved away in January 2014. We saw her again in July 2016. Coincidentally enough, I believe it was the day we got the CRV. We had something we went to that evening, and she still had that 2000 Toyota 4Runner, and there was personal stuff going on, but she may or may not still have that 4Runner. It was so long ago that there's a good chance she doesn't have it anymore, but if she had it that long, why not just keep it even longer, if you know what I mean. The 2012 Honda Civic LX and the 2008 Toyota Prius, I filmed both of those cars on our family trip to the DC area in 2013. I was just thinking about that trip this morning because we haven't taken a big family trip since then. So we took a big trip in spring break 2013 up to see some family friends in Richmond and the DC suburbs, and those cars belong to our family friends in the DC suburbs. I believe they still have the Honda Civic, but my mom told me this was within the last year, probably even earlier this year, that the 2008 Toyota Prius finally died, and my mom wanted me to give some input about vehicles that could work for them, such as RAV4s, Honda CRVs, and they got a 2018 Toyota Prius, certified probably, and that's what they've got now. So they got that 2018 Prius since we last saw them, but because they're so far away and I don't want to go to the territory of control of Virginia and Maryland area, there's a good chance I will not be seeing those cars again. As for some of the other vehicles that have appeared on the channel, I think that is pretty much it. Oh yes, I just remembered. Couple updates. The 2001 Toyota RAV4, I filmed a video of that when we went to see them in 2013. I have not been down to see them since 2015, but I believe they still have that car. I think they're just getting by. They've both been having a lot of issues. Well, Grandma's been having issues for a long time, but the grandfather's been having issues recently too, so we don't really stay in touch with them for reasons, but I believe that 2001 Toyota RAV4 is still their emergency get-around vehicle. It has a lot of miles on it still, and the kind of sad update to wrap up with is that 2007 GMC Yukon and the 1940 Plymouth Coupe. So the gentleman that had both of those vehicles, he moved out like a year after that to live with his brother, and he unfortunately passed away in 2016. So the Yukon and the Plymouth Coupe and any affiliations with him are no longer in the picture, unfortunately. We weren't really close with the family of him. It was mainly just him we were close with. So basically once he passed away, any relationship that was with them fizzled. Like, we always did a lot of stuff with him, which was really unfortunate when he passed away. But yeah, I feel like that explains all the miscellaneous cars that were on my channel and why they have not appeared again. I've sometimes thought it would be funny to be like, oh, somebody filmed a car 7 years ago, what happened to it? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to explain what happened to all these miscellaneous cars that appeared on my channel over time. And I've thought about, since I've been driving to film people's cars, like my friends' cars, but it just seems kind of weird and I just haven't gotten around to it. Maybe it could be a way to try to get a girlfriend, but I don't really think that's a good idea. I don't think so, right, Chill? Nah, I don't think so. So yeah, that's basically what's happened to all the cars. So long story short, RAV4 is gone. Please don't ask what happened to it. It's gone. I'm sorry. I drive an all-track now. I like my Volkswagen. The family's cars are all doing well, and those videos in 2013 were filmed and probably will not be filmed again, so you have those relics of the past if you want to see the past. So thanks y'all so much for watching this video, especially if you made it all the way through. I've realized that most of my people only stick through for the first couple minutes, so especially a huge thanks if you stuck through. If you have additional questions for me or would like any other videos, please let me know. I'm very busy, so that's why videos like this aren't super common. I hope y'all have a great evening, and if I don't post before Christmas, please have a Merry Christmas.